into your PS4. Using whatever method you normally use. Now, if you are doing this for the first time on 9.03 firmware, and whatever device you're using to load the pwn exploit will need to be updated to use the new Stage 2 loader that's been released for 9.03 firmware. If you're using the older one for 9.03, it most likely will not work, so just make sure if you're using like a Luckbox, Pico, or a Raspberry Pi, or whatever it is you're using, make sure it's using that updated Stage 2.bin file for 9.03 so it can correctly load the 9.03 Gold Hand version. You shouldn't have to replace any of the Stage 2 loaders though, if you are loading it on another firmware that already had Golden support. So when you first load it, it should load the new Gold Hand build from the USB drive, but it will also copy it to the internal hard drive, so that the next time you load the pwn exploit, it will just load it from the internal storage, instead of having to have the USB drive plugged in. So that USB drive should no longer be required. It's only required, really, when you're updating the Gold 10 payload, as we're doing here, so that's how you get everything set up and ready with a new build. Now, of course, if you're using an older version of the exploit that runs through the web browser, you can just wait for your favorite exploit host to get updated, or you can just host the payload yourself manually. But if you're waiting for your own exploit host to get updated, just make sure that you press the options button and go into the settings and clear the website data so that your exploit host can cache the latest payloads again. So that way when you basically reopen the site and go back onto that page, it should install the offline cache, and that will cache any new payloads that get added. So let's demonstrate the new features that have been added here. So first of all, you can find the new cheat option. Inside the Gold 10 settings, under the cheat settings, there is the option here to apply the cheats on startup. So if you enable that option, you do need to make sure this option is enabled before applying your cheats in order for this to work. So make sure that that is ticked. If you want to apply cheats on startup, we also want to make sure that we have the latest cheats installed. So if we head down here to cheat source, make sure that's set to net for GitHub, and the cheat selection is on all cheats. And then we can update the cheat archive, and when we do this, it will download all of the latest cheats and install them onto our PS4. So it will say it's updating the cheats. If it finds any new ones that don't already exist, otherwise it will say no cheat files are detected, and then you can run the game. So I'm going to run Bloodborne as an example here. Once we get into the actual game on Bloodborne itself, we can then hold down the share button to bring up the cheat menu as normal, and then we can select whatever cheats we want to apply. So in this case, I'll apply the master code first of all, and then I'll also apply infinite health. We'll do one hit kill, and we'll also do infinite blood echoes, and then we'll just switch back into the game. Once we have all of those applied, to make sure that they are being applied properly, you can see that we have the blood echoes have been set. And we should have infinite health and one hit kill enabled. So once we've confirmed that that's all working, we can go ahead and close out of the game, and then we'll just run the game again. And what you should notice when you launch the game for the second time, when you have that option applied in the settings, is that it should automatically apply those same cheats that we enabled last time as soon as the game boots. So once the game starts loading, you can see the notifications start popping up about it, applying those cheats. So that's just handy if there's, a game that has a lot of cheat files and you always enable specific cheats on a specific game, then you don't have to reapply them every single time that you launch the game. So that is a pretty handy feature to have. Now this could cause a problem with certain cheats, cause there are some cheats that are designed to only work when you're actually in the game because, whatever it is that the cheat is modifying, perhaps that is not there in memory when you're just, say, in the main menu, for example, before the game's actually properly loaded, or maybe, that section of memory is used for something else. When you're not actually in-game, and you're just in the menu, or you're on a different part of the game, then that could cause a problem. So, applying it when the game launches could cause a crash, or cause the game to freeze, so that could certainly happen for certain games. But at least for Bloodborne and many other games, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So as you can see here, this is working just fine. We load into the game and all of the cheats are already applied, as you can see, and if we hold down the share button, you can see all of the cheats that we had applied before are already applied for us. We don't have to go and enable them again, just a handy feature to have to improve convenience when using your PS4 game cheats, and just to prove that it's all working here. We'll also test one hit kill, and you'll be able to see that, every time we hit an enemy, they're dying in one hit, so far so good. It looks like this feature is working as intended. Now, the last change is an improved Klog server. Although it doesn't specify exactly what in the K, log has been improved, maybe stability, it's hard to say at this point. So perhaps just general stability. Improvements that have been added here to the kernel. But again, the kernel log is only really used for developers. Anyway, it's not something you would really notice as a normal user. So anyway, that's basically it for this update again. It is a small beta update. It's a 0.3, we've gone from 2.4b, 18.2 to 2.4b, 18.3. So these are small incremental improvements that are being made, but obviously whenever they add new features. And I definitely want to cover it here for you guys, because everybody wants to know. Of course, whenever there's anything new that's been added in Gold Hen. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I found the information useful if you did. Please leave a like and subscribe, and once again, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.